one of America's most influential talk show hosts, The Dave Elswick Show.
And there goes the last DJ who plays what he wants to play and says what he wants to say. Hey, hey, hey.
KARN.
And there goes the last DJ.
News Radio 102.9 FM.
One of the world's most powerful radio voices.
All right, we're here again, back with you. Real quickly, let me just read you. Hey, Bruce Westerman, how are you today, sir?
Great, Dave. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm going to have traffic coming up in just a moment, so let me first let you talk about the report, this Alexander report, which is really, I think, a damning indictment of Medicaid and of the welfare programs here in the state. This is costing, and it's going to cost, the people of Arkansas a lot of money if they're a taxpayer, especially.
Yeah, it's already costing the people of Arkansas a lot of money, and I don't know if damning is a good word to use for the report. I think it's definitely a revealing report. There was a lot of traffic on Twitter during the presentation of the report today, from a lot of it from the Democratic minority leader, talking about the $220,000 cost of the report. Where if you look at the report, it shows there's potential to save about $700 million in our welfare programs. That's over a 3,000% return on investment if we were able to get that. So, first off, I think it was a good investment to get a set of outside eyes to come in and look at not only our Medicaid system, but our whole welfare system. And there were some very revealing data points that were in that report. One thing is, I think the report highlighted how the state is spending more on Medicaid than any other state program, how that has continued to grow over the years, and we're spending more on Medicaid even than on education, and that should be concerning to all of our citizens to think that we're robbing money from other programs, and we've got this mammoth program that just continues to grow.
All right, we're going to come back in just a moment. I just want to hold you for a few more moments. Is that all right?
That's fine.
All right, we're going to put you on hold. That is, of course, Bruce Westerman. He's the majority leader of the State House, and we'll talk to him further. State Representative David Meeks has made his way here to KARN as well. All right, 413, Dave Elswick Show, KARN. State Representative David Meeks is here. Priscilla Smith is here. The majority leader of the Republican Party over at the Capitol is here. Of course, that's State Representative Bruce Westerman, who's also a candidate for the 4th District. Make sure that you understand that as well. And there was a report that was unveiled today. Now, I've had this report for over a week, and I've been talking about it for quite some time, and Thursday of last week, we spent a lot of time on it. It seemed like it came out that for every one full-time employee in Arkansas, there was 1.15 people on means-tested programs. Means-tested being welfare, Medicaid, that's programs people use. They don't pay any money into them. Unlike when you're talking about something in the way of Social Security and Medicare, correct?
That's right, Dave. When you start looking at the number of people getting from the system and the number of people supporting the system, I think we've passed the tipping point. And that's another reason I think it was important to get an independent report like this that had outside eyes that came in and looked and gave us a non-biased assessment of what's going on in our welfare and Medicaid systems here in the state. This report, it was going on back during the legislative session. If you remember, it was approved in the Joint Budget Committee, I think by a vote of 30-6 to fund this report. And I wish we would have had this data before the end of the session, but it was just so much to compile that there was no way to get all of this data and get the report done by the end of the session. Was I correct in saying it's 1.15 recipients to one full-time working Arkansan? That's right. I believe that's on the Medicaid system with the expansion, that it's 1.15 to 1.
Okay, so what we're looking at, we've got, and I know people hate it when I say this, but we got more people in the wagon than we've got people pulling the wagon.
Yeah, and I'll just flip back to the report, Dave. It says for each privately employed Arkansan, we estimate 1.15 persons receiving some form of welfare assistance. So it's talking about all the welfare programs.
Okay, so the bottom line is, for every working Arkansan, they're not only taking care of their families, they've also had an additional person put on their back that they got to take care of.
Yeah, a person plus 0.15 of another person.
Yeah, of another person.
All right.
And I think that, that has to be addressed immediately. I mean, I know it can't be at the beginning of next year in the fiscal session, but it sure could be addressed in the next session that comes up in 15, and will have to be. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think if we want to maintain fiscal soundness in our state government, and if we want to be able to have funds for other programs, essential programs of state government, we've got to address this issue. And programs like the Affordable Care Act don't do anything to improve our position.
Yeah.
I know Dave, our Representative Meeks, and I have fought the Affordable Care Act before we were in the majority. Back in the minority, we fought it as part of the majority. Just recently, we on Legislative Council didn't vote to approve the advertising for it. We're doing all we can do on the state level to negate the negative effects of that. But I'm to the point where something needs to be done in Washington. That's part of the motivation I have to go to D.C. to try to cut it off at the source.
Yeah, I can understand what you're saying on that. Do you think in the fiscal session, I'll leave you with this, do you think there's a good chance that the private option will be defunded? Will it be broken out and voted on?
I'll put it this way. I've not had a single person who voted against it tell me that they're thinking about voting for the funding, but there's talk from several members who voted for the funding who are now considering voting against the funding. But I'll also say that we beat it by 8 votes, or we killed it by 8 votes on Monday, and it passed by 3 votes on Tuesday. So all bets are off once we get into session, and
then the pressure begins.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, Bruce, when you're in Little Rock sometime, let me know when you're coming so I can get you on and we can spend an hour talking.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate you having me on for a brief time today.
All right, thank you. All right, so that's Bruce Westman, the Majority Leader